Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone across the world. My name is Wendy Morgan, and I'm joined by my co-host, Laura Balzer. Laura, you want to say hello?
Hi, everybody. Hello from Sarasota, Florida.
And I'm from Santa Barbara, California. So welcome here to our Quantum X39 Patching Podcast. And today we're going to bring you some wonderful encounters from individuals who have experienced activating their own stem cells and what that meant for them. So you're in for quite a treat. I have two beautiful women and their beautiful bravery in healing and in recovery and just the wonderful things that have happened to them in their life. And without any further ado, we're going to talk about the history of the company and explaining actually this product later on after the testimony. So make sure you stay on the call so you can listen to that from Laura. But before we move on, I would like to remind you that LifeWave products are not intended to cure, treat, diagnose, or prevent any type of disease. If you are pregnant or nursing or on any type of medication or have any other type of medical conditions, please consult with your physician first. Our patching podcasts are for educational purposes only. And with that, we're kind of dive right in. I'm going to send it right back to Laura. Laura, you have our first gal on hand. You want to introduce her?
I do. Pam, would you like to unmute yourself? It's right down at the bottom. There you are. Got it. Awesome. Welcome. So, Pam, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, let everybody know where you live, and then tell us a little bit what life was like before you were introduced to the patch. Who introduced you to the patch, and how are things looking now?
Okay,
so you have the floor.
All right, thanks. Well, my name's Pam Rush, and I live in Michigan. And Stacy Holwager, I guess, introduced me to the patches. I had seen her posts and had kind of linked up with her previously in life. So I do tend to take the things that she's doing seriously. So along with the fact that I have been interested in stem cells as well. If anybody is a forward-thinking person, I really think that they should be looking in that direction at this point in time. But anyway, I'm 62, and 62 can bring with it things. Things such as low energy, digestion issues. I run businesses. So by the end of the day, I'm just pooped. And I get home and, it's 6 o'clock and I really don't want to be off the couch. And, you spend a night just either on your phone or watching TV. And so that was the main issue, main things. I just wanted to feel better, have more energy. I did have some constant hip pain that was going on, and it just kind of came out of the blue. I tried to fix it with stretching and different things, and would end up using Motrin a lot of the time. And so anyway, that was kind of a little bit what was going on. I started the patches. As soon as I got them, I put one on, and I just kind of left it as, let's see what happens. I'm in it for the long haul. I did not expect anything to happen right away. And I really thought, maybe 6 months from now, I might see some improvement. So probably 2 days into that, 2 or 3 days, I did notice in the evening that I did have more energy. I just didn't feel so lethargic and so dragged down. And I had actually mentioned it to my husband and said, I really think I do have some more energy. And, it's always surprising. I'm not sure why, but, wow, that really did do something. So fast forward 3 weeks, let's just say, that was where my big aha moment happened. So prior to patching, I have grandkids, and so I like to take them out for a walk in the wagon. I live in a small town, so, you can wagon pull all over the place. And so one morning I took her out and my little dog, and we're just in the wagon and we're walking. And I just honestly felt like I was pulling this just wagon full of cement. It just felt so heavy, and it was just such a struggle, and I couldn't understand why. I mean, when you're an active person, you just can't imagine that happening to yourself. So I was overheated, I mean, it was a nice trip for them, but for me, it was agony, and it was probably maybe 30 to 40-minute walk. So that was the first walk prior to, or the last walk, I should say, before I used the patches. So now I'm 3 weeks in, and honestly, I didn't even think about it. I was just patching every day, just kind of, I'd put the patch on and go about my business and never really thought about it. Well, I took Lily and Rory for a wagon ride and was fully prepared for the way I felt last time. But the shocking thing was that it was absolutely a 180-degree difference. I pulled the wagon without effort. I walked without effort. We walked all over. We walked to town and back. I just felt so different. It felt light pulling the wagon. I didn't feel overheated. And I remember thinking while I'm walking, why is it so different? And it honestly never dawned on me about the patches. And 2 days later is when I actually thought of it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sure that's the patches. So that's when I wrote about it, because it was so dramatically different, getting up and down, just using my legs and everything just felt so much easier. So, and I noticed after probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe somewhere in there, 3 weeks seemed to be the magic mark, but my hip pain was gone, and it's been gone. It's still gone. So, I mean, it just so many. I said, I feel like, I was telling my sister about this, and I said, I feel like my younger self again. I just feel lighter. Think it feels easier. It's hard to explain, but it just makes you feel younger, I guess.
That's, I love this so much, because Pam, it was funny today after you and I got off the phone, I had another woman call me, and she was really complaining about very, very similar things. And I feel like a lot of people have this lack of energy, pain that they can't get rid of, and they're doing all the things that they can possibly do to get rid of. And she said the same thing, you said the same thing, and I feel like, number one, you've got your life back. I mean, to be able to spend time with your grandchildren and enjoy it, and not feel like, oh God, I don't know if I'm going to get through this today. They're coming over, oh my gosh, right? And so, but you said this to me, she said this to me, was this, and I bet there's a lot of people in here that can relate. I just feel old, right? I don't think any of us should just be feeling old, get settled into that life. We're around so many people that say, oh, it's, you're getting older. Yes, it's an age thing, right? Yep. And so not only does that affect you physically, it affects you mentally, and you're unable to really do the things that you love. And I say it all the time on here, that might seem like such a little thing, lack of energy, lack of sleep, but it is responsible for a well-lived life. Absolutely. Throughout the day, right? I mean, it just amazes me. Another thing that you said to me was, I just wasn't happy. Oh my gosh, right? Yep. How do you feel now? How are you sleeping now? Like, what's your husband think?
Well, my husband's a poo-pooer. So he doesn't, he doesn't think much. I don't generally talk to him about it too much because, he's one of those.
Got you. But you're sleeping better.
Well, I'm a good sleeper anyway, so sleep isn't really an issue. It was just more the energy it gives you the want to do things, I guess, so.
I love that. That's huge. That's really huge.
Mm-hmm.
It really, Wendy, I know you're sitting here, you're smiling, you're nodding your head up and down. Do you have any questions for Pam?
Yeah, Pam, I thank you for coming on here. I caught when she went ahead and went in and let everybody know, hey, my gosh, look at this. This is what I'm doing. And, I can just remember, back on a saying that said, when we're tired, it's really our cells are tired and we need to renew those cells. And this is exactly what this is doing. And I remember when I had my last child, man, my cells were tired, baby. It was hard to run beside him when you're trying to teach him how to ride bike. It's like, I don't have this anymore. And you're right. You get that motivation back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So because I remember you said now when you do the wagoning, you're no longer flushing with heat. You're no longer panting. Mm-hmm. Now that was just with X39, correct?
Absolutely. Yep.
The way to go, baby. That's the foundation, X39.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So
now have you noticed that your regular daily habits that you have just more energy to fulfill them and you have more flexibility?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. It sounds really silly, but as you get older, getting up and down is just not so simple. And now I just feel lighter. It feels like you have the oomph to do that. So like I said, there's a big change, and unless you are the one who's actually experienced it, it's hard to understand, or I guess even believe people, but once it's you, then, you want to keep on with what you got going on. So.
Right. Yeah. And just to recap with what Laura said is, we are so programmed, all of us, in the way of, well, this is just what it feels like to get old, and we just accept it. And that is a program, guys. That is a program. This is not normal, the way normal people, the way we've seen our parents and grandparents age and get tired. That honestly is not normal. We just have too many toxins in our system. And yes, we can gracefully feel like 20 years old all the way till we decide to pass. I love it.
Yes. Wendy, you said something, because I remember when I was talking to Pam, she said something and I immediately thought about my husband. And then you just said the word toxins in our body. One of the things Pam shared with me, and she shared a little bit here, was she would get really overheated when she was out, and she couldn't relieve herself from being overheated. But she said, and not to speak for you, Pam, but when you told me that all of a sudden you started to perspire again, like you could release that heat that was getting trapped in your body and you could perspire. And you guys, when you perspire, you are releasing those toxins. And that is a good thing. Sweating is great. If everybody could just sweat for 30 minutes a day, oh my gosh, your health would be incredible. Yep. But what's funny is my husband a couple of weeks ago, and he's been patching for over a year. He's a big hockey player. And he's been coming home for the last couple of weeks going, I am sweating like I've never sweated before. So it's just getting all those systems up and running like they're supposed to run, removing the toxins, having more energy. So I am very grateful for you coming on here. I know Wendy feels the same way, and sharing this, because I think a lot of people that share your experiences, and hopefully you've, to our guest tonight, have helped them see some of the things that the power of the patch can provide a great tool for the body. So Wendy, I've got nothing else. I don't know if you do. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Thanks, ladies.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So Wendy, you have a lady who has an incredible testimony. So I'm going to turn it over so you can interview Renee. I can't wait to hear this.
Absolutely. Renee, guys, she's just hang on to your seats. Boy, she got a story. Renee, would you please unmute yourself?
I think I already did. Can you hear me?
Can hear you loud and clear. So Renee,
Cool.
Renee, so if you would please just kind of, I think accidentally you got muted again. So unmute yourself.
It's on unmute.
There we go. So if you would please just let everyone know your story, because your story is, I mean, we can all kind of relate to it. Some people, unfortunately. Just let us know what happened beforehand, before you were introduced to the patches, if you would.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Daigle. I live in a one stoplight town, Washington, Louisiana, out on 3 acres. My people are Ed and Jennifer McNair. I've known them for a long time. And when they introduced me to this, I jumped right on it. I've been a nurse since 1985. And so I have studied a lot of holistic medicine. I've done everything from helping the elderly, taking care of elderly patients, geriatrics, to helping severely handicapped children on ventilators to live. So I know a lot about the healthcare. The minute they showed me this, they sent me the Y-Start X39. I was like, why didn't you tell me about this before? I immediately jumped online, ordered some patches, signed up as a distributor immediately. Of course, there was a lot of skepticism, kind of like Pam, same thing. And my story, I'm 60 years old, a lot of the same issues as Pam. I didn't want to really put anything else in my body. I was already taking other medication. I'll start my story with a number of years back, I was attacked by a Rottweiler. Well, it threw me down and bit into my left hip. But the right hip was injured more because of landing on my hip. So I had a superimposed impingement in my spine. I had to have that released with surgery, which worked, but I could barely walk. The doctors told me at that time, after probably about 2 years, they had given me a handicap placard. I was walking with a cane most of the time, just doing everything I could to go to work and come home. And that was about all I could do for years. And the doctors told me that I was going to need the handicap placard for the rest of my life. And I said, no, that's not me. So I started doing yoga, which is amazing. Everyone should add that to their daily routine or weekly routine. And then I started these patches. Well, no. Just when I was starting to get to walk again, I was a passenger in an auto accident, which will be 4 years on August the 4th. And it was awful. I had 2 discs in my neck collapse. And by a couple of months, I couldn't even use my hands or my fingers. Everything hurt so bad. And I was one slip away from being paralyzed from the neck down. March 1st, I found this fabulous neurosurgeon that took me on, and he did a 4-level fusion in my neck. I don't know if you can see or not see, but this is an old scar from 1999, but you can't even really see the big scar that runs across my whole up and down my neck right here.
So let me go ahead. Let me interrupt here a minute, love. So right down here, you'll see her scar right along the neck.
And then
when was this picture taken?
That was taken in May
Of 2000.
This year.
Of this year. Okay. So you've already had some time to heal, but there's still It's kind of hard to see in the picture, but you can still see the scar. Continue, please.
It's mostly, this one is old and it's definitely getting better. But this one, you can't even really see anymore, is because I started patching in March. And I used the X39 and I have been diligent with it. I had my aha moment as well. And of course, when I started, I was leery about it, like Pam saying, oh yeah, let's see what this is gonna do, because I'm a nurse, and I'm like, I approach my health very seriously, because of all of these all of this trauma that my body's had. So patching, and then I was like, dang, I'm down 30 pounds. And it's because I'm less stressed. I sleep better. I just handle everything in life better. I've just become this calmer person. I'm a Gemini. I'm like, always got to have something going on, And so I was like, I haven't even changed my diet. I eat what I want, and the scar is better. My skin is amazing. I'm 60 years old, guys. Look at this. It has
Renee?
just plumped my skin. It's amazing.
Let me go and share this current picture. So this is a current picture for her now. And you could just even see, I'll pull over to the previous one. All her wrinkles pretty much are gone underneath her eyes. The scar on her neck is barely noticeable. Your skin looks so smooth, Renee, especially on the forehead.
I know, it's amazing.
Here's the previous one, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but you can definitely see some wrinkles on the forehead. Definitely way more around the eyeballs. Wow, amazing.
So that was March, April, May, June, July. So I am like 4.5 months into patching. My family is like, my sister last week is like, what are you doing? She just, it just like hit everybody. You don't lose any more weight. They're saying, I'm like, I'm not doing it on purpose. My body is just reacting to the patch just on its own. And so my sister, I gave her some samples, and she became a distributor day before yesterday. And I said, would you like to have some patches for your husband as well? He's like a bull in a china cabinet. So she said, no, I think I'm going to try him first. And then I'm going to see what he thinks. Next day, can I have some patches for Mike? He's already seeing me better, more energy. Maybe it was 2 days. And I said, absolutely. I never expected him to want a patch. And here we are. My mother is 81. She's patching, and she's having a little bit of cognitive issues, and she is much better. I don't believe in, I love this because you're not putting another chemical or anything into your body. I love this as a nurse and holistic medicine, like Wendy is. She studies a lot of that, she told me. I just can't say enough about it. I now have everybody saying, what are you doing? 30 pounds, and I'm down to my high school weight.
Well, that is amazing in itself. But I really, if we can, Renee, I'm going to swing back around, because your auto accident with your cervical spine, even though you had, I think you said a 4-level fusion, that's big. That's where all your disc, your vertebrae guys are fused together. They don't really move anymore. And plus you also had a knee issue with that accident. So you had a total knee replacement, correct?
Correct.
And you had a lot of pain with that. So let's talk about that pain.
The pain, even with medication, was always at about a 6, 7. I would wake up in the morning, and that was the first thing I would do, is grab muscle relaxer and a pain pill. And then I would have some coffee and just wait for that to work before I could get up out of bed. And now I have cut down to half of the medication that I was taking. in the morning, I don't even grab my medicine anymore. It's like 12, 1 o'clock because I've been sitting up and my spine is more compressed. But half of the medication, this medication has so many side effects and is so awful, but I couldn't live without it. And guess what? Now I can. I am at about a 3-4, and that's livable. Everybody at 60 has that, right? But
only for now, right?
Right. I'm just 4 months into this. I can't wait to see myself in a year from now. It's
and
just wonderful.
Last one, you also talked to me about a lymphoma.
Oh yeah, I had a lipoma in my leg from when I was 17 years old. I fell and hit my leg on something.
Renee, can you kind of explain to people what a lipoma is?
A lipoma is a fatty tissue, like a knot in whatever part of your body, usually caused by an injury. I fell and hit my leg. It's in my quad on my left leg. And it was about this big, I guess, like a big acorn or a quarter. And now it's about this big, like a small pea. And that was one of my big aha moments. And I called Ed and Jennifer right away. I was like, oh, guys, this lipoma has been in my leg since I was 17. And I even talked to my sister about it last night. She said, I know you've had that. I said, feel it now. It's almost gone. 4 months. My body is healing itself in so many different ways. My skin, less pain, just my hair and nails, everything is just so much better. From X39, I've tried some other patches to age. I've added in different things to kind of play with it. The carnosine. Right now, I've got glutathione on the way. It might be in my mailbox today. I'm having to sit outside because my electricity's out. But yeah, just remarkable.
And I do believe you said your sleep is really good too, yes?
I've always been a dreamer. I have to be very careful what I plant in my head. If there's any violence or anything, I dream violent dreams and I feel them in the morning. Not anymore. I was taking medication to stop my mind from dreaming. Not anymore. No depression, awesome. No anxiety, less stress, just a totally different person overall, better person.
That is amazing. Laura, do you have any questions for Renee?
No, I think she is very excited and very happy and covered it so well. I think the only thing, everything rang out, but I think one thing sometimes people forget, and for our guests and our listeners as well, in my previous life, I was a personal trainer and conditioning coach. And Renee, I loved how you said, I started patching, giving my body a tool to use appropriately. And I lost all that weight. And I think if I could get one thing across to everybody, which is, it's never about being skinny. It's always about being healthy. And when you achieve the healthy and you provide the body with the tools that it needs, you will go to the weight, the appropriate weight for you. If you want anything else outside of that, then of course, but usually it's pretty much spot on when you're feeding your body the right nutrition and feeding it the tool that it needs to function on a day-to-day basis. And Renee and Pam are a perfect example of those tools being snuffed out a little bit, if you will. And
can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
Everyone is going to react differently. Yeah. So take what I said and think about it, but your body's going to react different than Wendy's, Pam's, everybody. So, and I think it's great. Everybody's going to benefit somehow.
I need to
Yes.
add something.
Hi,
Renee.
That's Ed talking, Ed and Jennifer, who's turned Renee on. We got to make it short, Ed, because we got to get into the science.
Okay, well, amongst all of this, turn your speaker down.
Well, honey, I didn't even know you.
Hang on,
How do I get me off?
just turn the volume down.
Sorry, guys.
Doing this, she has cleared 3 acres of property. She's cut down trees. She's cleared a pond. She's rebuilt the house. She redid the wood floors. She's painted the whole house. Y'all, she has done like 100 people's worth of work on that property. She said,
Yes, I have.
I'm done.
Thank you,
Thank
Ed.
you.
So, Renee, you become an Energizer bunny.
She's a bad.
Well,
Unbelievable energy.
thank you so much, Renee, for sharing your story. Really, really appreciate you coming on today and doing that. And we'll definitely swing back around because I guarantee in a couple months, you're going to say, Wendy, I have no pain at all. So for everybody, first of all, I'd like to apologize. We are going over 30 minutes, but I don't like stopping good testimonies when they're roll. As you can tell, you wouldn't want to miss half of that, right? So for those of you wondering, what we're talking about is this little tiny patch. So Laura, can you tell us a little about what is in this and how did it come about?
Absolutely, absolutely. So everyone, Wendy was holding up. This is one that doesn't have the backing on it, so you can actually see the middle of it, and you see that there's a little white round patch there, a patch within a patch, if you will. But you've heard some incredible testimony, and the question is, how can something of this size that is non-transdermal, and I think that's the big key here, non-transdermal. There's nothing going through to the skin that's going to contradict anything that you might be taking it, whether it's a supplement, whether it's a prescription, or whatever your daily routine is. So please know that this is a non-transdermal patch. Well, you know, Laura, that's all great and well, but how does that work? Well, I love comparing it to much like the sun. Okay, we go outside in the sun hits our skin and it instructs our bodies to make vitamin D. I think a lot of people, I know I was one of them when I was young, I was under the impression that the sun gave me vitamin D. But of course, we know now that that's not the case. It is the light therapy coming from the sun that instructs our body to make our own vitamin D. This patch works the exact same way. In the middle of the patch is a proprietary blend of organic amino acids, salts, sugars, and crystals. Okay, and it makes or provides the perfect crystal lattice. So what happens? Just like the sun, our bodies radiate heat, infrared light. If we are to touch ourselves right now, you feel warm. So when I place this patch on my skin, and I'm going to tilt down just a hair, what happens is this patch immediately harnesses that energy, that heat, that light from, or that that heat from my body, harnesses that energy, which creates a light that reflects back towards my skin. And when that happens, it starts to upregulate the GHK copper peptide in our bodies. Now, this is something that we're born with, but it does start to decline as we age. But when we have this start to happen, it then activates our own personal stem cells. It's a beautiful thing. You know, within 14 seconds of placing this patch on our skin, it starts to upregulate anywhere between 4,000 to 6,000 genes to a healthier, younger state. Okay, it's fantastic. It's brilliant, honestly. David Schmidt, our CEO, the scientist and inventor behind this product, the visionary of this man is incredible. And when you think about the fact that we're born with an abundant amount of stem cells, by the time we're 30, 35, maybe 50% is less of what we were born with. We get around to the age about 60, and we're talking maybe about 10% that would be able to be picked up in blood work. So when you think about it, we didn't have gray hair when we were 10. You know, we couldn't fall off of a bike now like a 10-year-old does and get up and run and jump back on it and just go. I mean, we hit the back of the bed and our feet with our toes and we hit the floor, right? So, you know, whether it's a cut on your finger, or a broken bone. Yes, you can put a Band-Aid on that. And yes, you can get a cast, but those things aren't healing that problem. Our bodies are. And when we lose the tool to do that as we age, it becomes more and more difficult to achieve that, or it takes longer. So there it is with the preference of the stem cells being activated in your body. We all know that stem cells are the holy grail of healing, or hopefully you're getting that information today. I think the beautiful thing about stem cells is they are what we call pluripotent, meaning they have the ability to morph in any cell that the body deems appropriate at that moment. So you might be thinking, God, Laura, Wendy, I've got horrific back pain. Well, I'm not going to tell you the minute you start patching that back pain is going to go away, because as we start to activate those stem cells, or what I should say, as your body starts to activate those new stem cells, if it picks up something else that's going on in your body, maybe just a little addressing needs to be done to the heart or the liver or the pancreas. It is going to go to the most important thing first. But trust me, as you've heard from these ladies today, it takes a while. They were all in to wait and see. So with some grace and some consistency and some patience, just like these ladies did for themselves, they started feeling and experiencing the magnitude of activating their own personal stem cells. Very briefly, I just want to touch on David Schmidt just a little bit. Like I said, the man is a visionary. You know, this all started about 18 years ago. You know, David was doing some work for the Defense Department. And at that time, with what he was working on, they did come to him and said, hey, we need something for our Navy SEALs. We need their stamina to be of the utmost. We need their clarity to be of the utmost. They need to be able to do their job and do it well, not being all amped up on amphetamines and caffeine and all the other things that were possible for them to be consuming in order to do their jobs. And David Schmidt did just that. He created a patch called the Energy Enhancer, which is a phenomenal patch. I wear it every single day. You know, but that's where all this vision began. And from there came other supporting patches. But here we're talking about the X39. You know, the X39's only been out for about 2.5 years, almost 3. But it took about 10 years of R&D. It took millions and millions of dollars of David's own money because he believed in this so much. And here X39 was born. So it is an incredible product. As you can see from today, listening to real results from 2 different women, you know, feel free to come back here anytime with the same number and listen to 2 other people that want to volunteer their experience with this patch. But as now, I don't want to keep you too long, but I do want to turn it back over to Wendy and let her share how easy it is to get this product. Wendy?
Hi, sorry. Hi, everybody. So as far as if you're interested in what you have seen today, you want to know how to basically get it, you can easily come in as a retail customer, or you can come in with a wholesale price as a preferred customer, or 4 different kits. What we wish is that you please reach out to the person that invited you to this patching podcast, and they can share with you more details, and that way you can come in where you fit in. We give so much thanks to our testimonies today, be it Renee and Pam, there she is. Their beautiful testimony, really appreciate it. And for those newbies who are on here just listening, we look forward to hearing your testimony in about 30 days, and you can share them here as well. As far as if you'd like to step on, as Laura kind of alluded to, we do have these patching podcasts Monday through Thursday at 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time, and of course Fridays, 1 o'clock Pacific time and 4 o'clock Eastern time. Other than that, tomorrow we do have a special. Our David Schmidt, he will be talking at 10 a.m. Pacific time and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's the same exact number that you called in to get to hear, and you get to listen to what he has to say with his interview and learn more about the company. We thank you so very, very much with your time, and we ask that you have a very wonderful weekend. Yes.
I just wanted to correct you. It's not the same number. It's on Onyx's channel, 451-797-7687 tomorrow. I'll put it in the chat.
Can you put that in the chat, please? Yeah, thank
Sure.
you, David. Thank you for that correction. Yeah, I don't have my reading glasses on. Sorry about that, guys. Thank you very much. I
Welcome.
love when David pops in. He helps out. Couldn't do without you, David. Anyways, I hope everybody has a great weekend, and sayonara, signing off.